Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, we're up to episode 8 of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Labyrinths. Only two more to go. I mean, that's sort of the main sort of thing here for me, is like there's only two more to go. Makes me very happy. Okay, so disappointing episode. It set up a lot of big things. It didn't really pay off. It had some elements and some set pieces that it really could have done more. Had some concepts they could have looked at, and they really didn't. At the start we see the Breen, and they're very much shown like the stormtroopers in Star Wars, and you're sort of expecting a big fight from them later on. You really don't get it. We go into the Badlands, which looks more like the Briar Patch, and I did hear someone refer to this area as the Briar Patch at some point, and I'm like, did someone get something wrong? It's meant to be the Briar Patch, but they're calling it the Badlands. Or did someone see the images and think it was the Briar Patch and refer to it as the Briar Patch, but it was the Badlands all along? Because it doesn't look anything like the Badlands. The Badlands had a specific structure where it was these sort of funnels of energy and then flame in Deep Space Nine that sort of join these two sort of environments. And this is just a big mess of stuff. It's like, oh, that's right, they can't do anything without like having copyright issues and creative issues, and they want to make their own version of everything, so they own it and can merchandise it or sell it, as opposed to actually showing real sort of Star Trek lore and Star Trek locations and aliens and things like that. So I continually get disappointed by that, even though I know that's what they do. So why? Yep. Okay. So we had Burnham. It's kind of like Burnham. She kind of has an inner light moment where she goes into this labyrinth, this library, and literally goes into it, and she's in like another like space, and she has the guide is there, but instead of it being some interesting alien, it's just Book sort of being the guide. And he's wearing the librarian's dress, which, some people are talking a lot about, but I mean, who cares? But, and their choice of the librarian being this Valley Girl sort of character instead of the traditional sort of elderly, mature sort of, librarian. I mean, I see what they're doing, but there's a reason why they usually go with the other stereotype, because it actually works and it makes some sense. If this big epic sort of search for these puzzle pieces, they're not really paying off. Like there isn't that big epic feel to this. It's no big battle. I mean, you see 5 Breen I think show up at one point, then at the end there's like 10, and that's really all. They threaten the library. They use some tunneling beam to get in, and in the end, I mean, Michael ends up just doing this little internal exploration of her fears and anxieties and all these things to sort of prove that she actually is worthy of the piece, and she just ends up handing over to them, but they've got the location, so then they do that thing where they spore out, jump out, and drop a bomb basically, so they trick the Breen into thinking they've been destroyed when there's not, like, normally they set it up with enough remnants of the ship to sort of it's just they don't even try any of that. They're just gone, and I'm not sure the Breen would have fell for that. And there's the whole thing with Locke where they sort of turn him into a martyr, and then Mol takes advantage of that, and then when she kills the other dude, she ends up basically becoming a part of the Breen army or whatever. I mean, she's sort of now got a place in that, and how's that going to play off in the next 2 episodes? We see Reese in command, which was good, because he has had nothing to do for this season practically. They really have underused the bridge crew, and I'm glad some of the ones that stuck around are actually getting a few little moments. Rayner and Book they're sort of dealing with each other and trying to save Burnham, and that was kind of interesting. There's lots of little things in the episode that are kind of interesting, but there's nothing really big, nothing really pays off. They didn't really take advantage of this big set piece, this sort of idea of this archive. I mean, I was expecting a lot more. And yeah, that's kind of it. Just nothing much happens. I mean, this is the problem with stories like this. It's like, okay, they have to get the other puzzle piece. They got the puzzle piece. Like, there's no surprise. What's going to be on Star Trek this week? Oh, just puzzle piece 5, And that's sort of it. Yeah, I can't think of anything much else. Like the Breen, they didn't really explore. Like, we don't know enough about them to sort of pull off this sort of story where they deal with their culture and their politics, which they sort of do mostly in this one episode. They're just trying to get to the end. It's just next step to the end, and this is just what it feels like, and that's what a lot of these episodes in these sort of long story arcs feel like. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this episode.